Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It's time for my The Good Doctor recap. So to recap on tonight's episode, there was a patient who apparently had an injury from the spin class, so we found out that she was sexually harassed at spin class, and we saw that Claire was going through similar things with this new doctor who appeared to be charming at first, but he ended up being a pervert. He actually at one point implied to Claire that they should have a one night stand tonight. That he actually did say that he's good at massages, and in the morning that he makes good omelets. So he was implying that he that they'll have a one night stand. So Claire was unsure what to do because if she stands up for herself, then she'll be labeled as a bitch. But if she says nothing, then she's in a way kind of letting this guy let what happened to her happen to somebody else. So she confides in Jared, who she's been sleeping with, and at first he says that maybe he's trying to build a relationship, trying to get to know her, but he believes her in the end and actually throws this guy up against the lockers and tries to no, he actually does threaten him, saying that if he puts his hands on Claire again, that he's done for. And Claire actually got the courage to end up reporting Dr. Coyle, but in the end, it actually ended up Jared getting fired for attacking an employee. And I get he shouldn't have physically attacked an employee, but I saw where Claire was coming from. Like, what else could she have done? I mean, in today's world, you see what happens when people come forward when they're sexually harassed. Nobody believes them just because they're a woman. They tend to believe the one that's accused of the harassment. We see this other patient, Bobby. He's apparently a really famous gamer, and I really like this patient. He's probably one of my favorite patients to be on the show, and he's really been a good influence for Sean. He has been encouraging Sean to speak up for himself more, and Sean's been doing a great job, advocating for himself. But we still see, of course, Glassman telling Sean that he needs a therapist, still trying to force this aid on Sean. And when I say therapist, he's actually, if you're paying attention, he's actually tricking Sean in a way, because at first he said it was an aide, then last episode he said this aide was a maid that would come, and now he's saying that it's a therapist. So he's in a way trying to trick Sean into thinking that this isn't really an aide. But Sean's frustrated because he's told him time after time that he does not need an aide. He's doing what he's supposed to do. When you have autism or Asperger's, like me, you're told that you need to advocate for yourself, to let people know what you need and to get what you want. And he's doing what he's supposed to do, but he's not listening to him. And Bobby, that's the patient, he's really encouraging Sean to, stand up for himself and to have people respect him more. And we see that Sean actually goes to great lengths to try to get Glassman to listen to him. He actually goes as far as to sleep in a janitor's closet to try to avoid this therapist. I mean, what lengths does Sean have to go to get Glassman to realize that he does not need an aide? Glassman then the next morning bribes Sean and says he'll get him this big, I guess it was like speaker system or something like that, if he sees the aide. And Sean um, Sean says okay simply because he wants the speaker system, but he asks Glassman, "Are you bribing me?" I mean, what kind of person does Glassman think Sean is by bribing him? And Claire, because of the trouble she's going with the doctor, she wants to switch with um Sean, but Sean feels like he's getting really good advice from Bobby, so he wants to keep him as his patient, and we find out that Bobby has cancer, and he actually has had cancer in the past before, and this cancer is actually more serious, that it's actually inoperable. It's on his brainstem. But Bobby actually calls out Melendez, saying that he doesn't respect Sean, and we actually see Sean call out Melendez, saying that you don't respect me at all. And you could see it right out there in the hallway, because they didn't want to believe Sean's idea, but then when Jared says the same thing, they think, okay, Jared, let's go with what you have to say. And Bobby calls Melendez out on it, and Melendez was like, I respect Sean, I give him feedback. I'm like, he did not know what to do with himself, because he finally got called out on his bullshit. Let me read my notes here. We find out that Bobby does have the cancer, so they're trying to figure out what they can do, because they actually do find out that they can do an operation, but it'll be tricky because there's a very good chance he could die on the table, but if they do the surgery, he'll come out alive, but he'll be paralyzed on his left side. So he decides that he wants to do the surgery, but Melendez and this other guy who wants to be the president of the hospital tell him that his career is over. But Glassman, is encouraging to Bobby, saying that, oh, your career won't be over, I believe in you. It's funny how he believes in Bobby because he doesn't have a disability, but he doesn't believe in Sean because he has a disability. Shocker. We see again that Sean is hiding from the aide. Again, he has to sleep in this janitor's closet to get his point across, and he asks this janitor, are you happy with your life? So now Sean's kind of questioning, like, is he at the right place? Like, should he be even working at this hospital? Like, is he happy working here? So you can really see throughout the episode the stress is really taking its toll on Sean, and it's Glassman's fault. Glassman says he doesn't know what to do anymore. He doesn't know what he's doing wrong, and it's like, are you kidding me? You're not listening to him. He does not want an aide, and you just simply insist that he needs one. When it's like, you're the one that's telling everybody in the hospital that they should give Sean a chance, but you're not giving him a chance. And even in the OR, when they're doing Bobby's first surgery on his hand, they wouldn't give Sean a chance in the ER. They're giving him the OR. They weren't giving him a chance. They gave him the simplest of tasks. They let Jared go ahead and get all the glory and everything. And I feel like that happens a lot in the workplace when people have autism. They tend to give, even though they're clearly qualified for the job, they tend to give people with autism the simplest of tasks just because they either A, don't want to teach them. They B, don't believe they can do a job that they're clearly qualified for. Or C, they don't want to, they basically just don't want to teach someone or deal with anybody that has autism. Um, we see that Bobby is having trouble on the table, and they actually are able to save him. And I actually got very emotional because, in a way, Bobby is kind of like Sean now because Bobby is disabled. He has to learn how to do certain things again, like eat, and I guess he has to deal with speech and gain some mobility in his left hand. I mean, he has more function in his left side than they originally thought. Like, he could do more stuff than they originally thought, but still, he'll be disabled for quite a while. His disability could change, but Sean's won't. He'll always have autism. And Bobby says to Sean, I'm getting emotional thinking and just saying this, says never let anyone tell you what you can or can't do. And that really struck a chord with me because I always have people, making me feel like I can't do anything, and I often feel inferior to other people because, I have Asperger's, and sometimes people have a unique way of making me feel inferior compared to them, and I have to learn not to let that get to me because I'll um I'll be working my way up, and that'll always be down here. Like, I'll be the better person and rise above while they'll continue to be ignorant people. And we see Glassman is frustrated, and he says to Sean that he's taking him home and he's going to meet this therapist. And Sean says no, he doesn't want to meet this person. And let me read here. Sean says to him no, and he also says that he's only doing this to make. He said that Glassman's only doing this to make himself happy and not Sean happy. And I was like, oh my God, like, I think that's 100% true because Glassman's not thinking of Sean. He's thinking about what he wants. And Sean gets so frustrated. The stress is really getting to him at this point. And he actually ends up hitting Glassman, just like slaps him. And of course Sean didn't want to do that. That was not his intention. But the frustration and stress has become too much because of Glassman. And he runs away, and Glassman, again, not listening to Sean, brings the aide into his home and sees that Sean's not there, and he took the picture of his deceased brother, so it's implied that Sean's not going to be coming back. And I'm like, it's so sad because all Glassman had to do was listen to Sean. Sean said multiple times that he did not want an aide. I've said it multiple times in his recap. I feel like I'm like a broken record here trying to recap this. I mean, he said multiple times he didn't want an aide, but Glassman didn't listen. It's like, if he would have just listened to him in the first place, Sean would still be here. Everything would be all right in Sean's life. Sean wouldn't have had to sleep in a janitor's closet, and he wouldn't have had to run away to get away from Glassman. I mean, like, what the hell? It's just so frustrating how people don't listen to us just because we have Asperger's, like, or autism. They think that we're inferior and that our opinions don't matter, that we don't know what we want. Well, guess what? We do know what we want. We have a voice, and I think it's about time that people listen. So I hope you guys enjoyed the season finale of The Good Doctor. It'll be back on in January. If you guys want to catch The Good Doctor, it is on Mondays, 8 p.m. on ABC. Until next time, stay regal.